Welcome to the last session of the four-part series called Day and Night, which is providing some of the reasoning or rationale for the name of this service, Christian Union Day and Night. We have been looking at Luke 18, the parable of the persistent widow, and I want to focus in on the last part of verse 7 here and tell a story about this. We've been looking at why Jesus calls people to seek him day and night. And it says here, after he encourages to seek him day and night, it says, will he, that is God, delay long over them? I tell you, he will give justice to them speedily. So you see the Lord's responsiveness to his people when we seek him with this kind of diligence. And it was here in New York City about 150 years ago when something really remarkable happened. There was a man named Jeremiah Lanphier. He was in his 40s. He worked as a lay leader for a church down in the financial district in lower Manhattan near Wall Street on Fulton Street. And he would go door to door evangelizing in a part of Manhattan called Hell's Kitchen. And he'd get discouraged. People were not interested. They wouldn't be responsive to him. So to encourage himself, he would take time in the middle of the day to pray from about noon to 1, to lift his spirits, to get encouraged, to get strengthened in the Lord. And he started a prayer meeting because he thought other people, other businessmen, might want to do the same thing. So he posted in 1857 in September a notice to invite people to a Wednesday prayer meeting, noon to 1. And that first prayer meeting, there were about 5 or 6 people who showed up, and they prayed for that hour. And they did again the next week, and more people came. And after a few weeks, they started having the prayer meetings every day. And it swelled and swelled and moved to other parts of Manhattan and New York. And within a few months, many tens of thousands of people, if you can imagine this, throughout New York are taking time noon to 1 to pray. And it wasn't just at that time. They added in the mornings before work. They added in the evenings after work. And at its peak over the next year and a half, just about every public space, churches and everything, was filled with people praying and seeking God. And at that time, the telegraph had just been recently introduced. So the news spread across the country. And so it wasn't just New York, but in Cincinnati and all the way out in Portland and other places all across Denver. People would pause during the middle of the day as well as morning and night and pray and seek the Lord. And what's absolutely incredible is over this year and a half, the spiritual response in the nation. At that time, America had a population of about 30 million people, which is 1/10 of what it has today. And in that year and a half, if you can imagine this, over 1 million people came to faith in Jesus Christ. And as historians look at this, they look at the roles of the churches. This year, the churches had about 200 people in them. A year and a half later, it had 500. This other church would have maybe 300, and then 2 years later, there's 1,000 members. It was that sort of incredible change. And all this happened as a result in this outflow of people praying. The Lord heard the response, heard the prayers of the people, and he responded to them in great power, and many, many came to faith. And this is a motivation for Christian Union day and night, that as we draw near to God, he would draw near to us and have many of our loved ones come to faith in our Savior Jesus Christ, our communities changed, and our nation changed. This concept is so powerful that there's a man in Korea named David Yonggi Cho. He read this story 50 years ago, and he decided, well, instead of praying for just a year and a half, what if we prayed like this continually? What would God do? And we have the answer. He started a church from scratch, and now his church is the largest in the world with over 1 million members. Absolutely unbelievable and extraordinary. And they have this culture of prayer. So this is a reason why we have started Christian Union day and night, so that we can draw close to the Lord and he'll hear us and respond in great power. Thanks for joining with us.